Alright, in this lesson we're going to introduce you to the concept on probability. Alright, one thing to note, okay, just key points, probabilities, probabilities can be expressed as proper fractions most of the time. Okay, it can be expressed as fractions. Most of the time is expressed as proper fractions. It can be even expressed in terms of decimals and percentages. Okay. Alright, and also it is a measure of how likely an event can happen. Is a measure of how likely an event will take place. Okay, it is normally denoted by probability of an event. The mathematical denotation is such: number of favorable or positive outcomes according what you deem to be positive for E over the total number of possible outcomes. Okay, or number of outcomes in E over number of possible outcomes, S. Alright, so it's the same thing. Okay, NS stands for the total number of possible outcomes. This stands for the total number of possible outcomes. In sample space S. Alright, and NE is the number of elements in is the number, or rather the number of favorable outcomes in event E. Alright, okay, so certain probabilities, certain properties of probabilities. Now if you say that PE, the probability of event E, is equals to 0, it means that this is an impossible event. Alright, next, if you say that the probability of event occurring E is equals to 1, you say is a definite or certain event. Okay, it's bound to happen for sure. Okay, it's definitely bound to happen. So an example would be, okay, what's the probability of getting either heads or tail when you flip a coin? Okay, the probability of getting a heads or a tail is definitely 1. Okay, you will definitely either get heads or tail now. Alright, this is pretty simple, isn't it? Okay, so probability, okay, has got a range of between 0 and 1. Okay, the closer it is to 0, the less likely that event will occur. The closer it is to 1, the more likely the event can occur. Okay, and last but not least, let's say if we have probability of an event occurring plus probability of a complement of event occurring is equals to 1. When you add the probability of an event that can occur to the probability of the complement of the event, is definitely equals to 1. So the probability of an event occurring is actually 1 minus probability of the complement of the event. Okay, so in this case, okay, E1 is the complement to event E. Okay, so let me just give you a very oversimplified example of probability. Okay, alright, so what is the probability of getting hits when you flip a coin? Okay, so you throw a coin up in the air. Okay, you let it land on the palms of your hand. What's the probability of getting a hit when you do so? Okay, what's the number of possible outcomes? Okay, the number of possible outcomes is actually equals to 2. You can get either a heads or tail, isn't it? So there are 2 possible outcomes, heads or tails, isn't it? Alright, but the probability of getting a favorable outcome, which is heads in this case, is just 1. So number of, okay, basically the number of favorable outcomes in event E over the number of possible outcomes in sample space S is 1:2, half. So that's your answer. So probability can be expressed as is usually written as a proper fraction. It can be represented as a decimal, okay, or it can be represented like that, no problem. Alright.